My mother always told me I could be anything that I wanted to be. And I know parents might say this to their children, and I'm convinced that my mother believed it. Born in Brooklyn, New York, the oldest daughter in a Sicilian family, she made a choice at 18 to do what women weren't supposed to do back then, which she became a Marine. When I was 18, I made my choice. I became a rock star. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't always want to be a rock star. I spent much of my childhood practicing to be a magician. And in high school, I excelled in all my classes, especially debate, drama, and oratory. But as I look back, I can see that I always had a desire for the stage. And to this day, I find it strange that I pursued the stage because, in all honesty, I'm afraid every time I get in front of people. And yet much of my life has been defined by finding a way to overcome and face my fear and meet the desire to perform on a stage. So when I was 15, I formed a band with my younger brother, and my love of music took off at that time. We were your typical basement band, and in the summertime we would gather all our equipment up, put it out on the back deck, and pretend we were performing for thousands of people. And looking back, I realized how terrible we really were. But we had huge dreams. And even though I've made some big mistakes in my life, I have never stopped dreaming big. And because of that, I've been able to live in London, England, get my degree. I've been to Pakistan twice. I've owned 2 successful businesses. And 4 years ago, I was asked to be a pastor of a new church plant in Bagley, Minnesota, in which I'm also the worship leader. Over the years, I've come to realize that if I'm following my dreams, there will always be people telling me that I can't. And the naysayers and critics abound, the pessimists and unbelievers, always trying to instill doubt into my dreams so that it will take root and turn into fear. And the truth is, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm performing, whether I'm traveling, whether I'm trying to do church in a fresh, authentic way, I can always find myself afraid, as if fear is just waiting for me to just turn on the tap and let it fill my life and drown my dreams. Because if I'm honest with myself, the biggest naysayer, the biggest critic in my life is me. If I choose to listen to the voices of fear, I end up being like the world I see around me, preferring the safety of their shells over the risk of dreaming big. So now, as a father of 4 boys and a pastor of a growing church, I know it's critical that I help them, that I teach them to face and overcome their fear. And one way I do it is through performance art, specifically music. I am a teacher at heart. If I know it, I will teach it. And since I've moved to Bagley, I've become a teacher of guitar, bass, drums, and to about 30 students, actually, mostly elementary age. And as they've progressed on their instruments, I feel this need, this desire to help them reach the next level. And so we put them into bands, and we help them perform in front of in front of live audiences. And in many ways, this is a challenging task. And I'm not talking about the kids. They love performing. They love learning new songs. It's the adults. It's the businesses. It's the schools. Trying to convince them that the kids actually sound great and not like some bad recital. This has been monumental, like pushing a boulder. But I'm glad to say the boulder is moving. In September, we launched Kid Jam, where we had 3 bands, an all-boy band called Boys in Black, an all-girl band called Triple S, and a mixed boy and girl band called the Skittle Dragons. 15 kids, the majority of them under 6th grade. And they played to a full house. With standing room only, approximately 150 plus people attended. We had lasers, lights, fog. We sold Kid Jam merchandise, and we even gave away a free guitar. But the best part of it all was that we saw kids come out of their shell, face their fear, and shine. One special example would be that of Logan. Logan has Asperger's. It's a subset of autism. And kids with Asperger's are often teased and bullied daily, and this is Logan's daily life. But at Kid Jam, his passion for music, his stage presence truly steals the show. He is a fan favorite everywhere we go. And since September, we've had performances in 2 different local schools where we've done all school assemblies. And here's Triple S in Bagley performing in front of 500 kids. Most of these girls on the stage right now were some of the shyest students that I've ever worked with. But once they tasted what it was like to perform, they're the hardest working kids that I have. In October, we did a show at the Cabin Coffee House right here in Bemidji, and an up-close and personal kind of gig for the kids. And it was also standing room only. We have Boys in Black right here, 4 boys who prior to being in a band didn't have the same interest and probably wouldn't have been friends. But being in a band has created a special and notable camaraderie with them. Next, we have the Skittle Dragons, a unique mix of boys and girls ranging from the ages of 2nd grade to 11th. The only band with 2 dual lead singers, the only band that has the widest range of musical styles, from Michael Jackson to Quiet Riot, from Bon Jovi to Devo. They are quite entertaining. But the Boulder for Kid Jam is gaining momentum. Right now, the kids are learning new songs, polishing their set for the next gig at the Boys and Girls Club on December 14th. Their fears are becoming less, and their dreams are becoming bigger. But most people would say that I'm just a teacher of music, and I don't see it that way. I'm a teacher of victory over fear. Recently, I heard a famous story about a man who noticed some people doing some construction, and the man asked one of the construction workers, "What are you doing?" And the man said, "I'm laying bricks. What does it look like I'm doing?" Not satisfied with the answer, the man approached another person, and he said, "What are you doing?" And the man said, "I'm building a cathedral." And then he began to explain how wonderful and privileged he was to participate in such a marvelous work that was going to bless so many people over the years. That first worker was trapped in his momentary frustration. The second worker saw the big picture, and he was free to work with passion. I leave you with this challenge tonight. Whatever work, whatever hobby, whatever passion you have, are you just laying bricks? Or are you approaching it as if you're making an investment that will bless many people for years to come? That's why I teach music.